What is going on, everybody? This is episode 48 of the Boxing Fanatico live show. Let's go ahead and switch over so we can go ahead and start this show. We got a few things to talk about today. What is going on, everybody? Of course, we got to start off with Ep.47 with the Let's Go champ, the legend himself, Ep.47. Thank you so much for starting off the show. We also got to start off the show with my main man as well, because I got two main men, Hashim. There's a bunch of y'all too. Adrian Dones, ASAP TV. What's going on, brother? I see you here. We're going to go ahead and start the show off with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
let's get ready to rumble is right now. First things first. I got to talk about episode 47. I don't know if you guys noticed, or by the way, Hashim 47, episode 47 was on Monday. I forgot to connect those two dots. If you guys haven't noticed, my episode 47 is no longer available to be viewed on YouTube. So, this is what happened, apparently. For some reason, for some unknown reason, my channel, my video, my live stream was given a copyright strike by Zeus Entertainment, Blueface. Them specifically gave me only a copyright strike. I don't know if it was because I was critiquing how he was fighting. I don't know what it was. I would kindly ask for them to remove that copyright strike, as a copyright strike is very detrimental to a channel. So I wouldn't want them to put that on to my channel, but they did for the one video that I did breaking down what was happening. If you go on YouTube right now, there are multiple videos showing the entire footage, cell phone footage of him sparring in its entirety with no commentary at all, not transforming the video in any way, shape, or form. But for some reason, and there's people that have the views are 34,000 views over here, 20,000 views over there, right? There's people with hundreds of thousands of views. Meanwhile, I don't know how many views my live stream had, but I'm sure it wasn't any of those numbers. But for some reason, the only person that got a copyright strike, from my knowledge, by Zeus Entertainment, which is the management of Blueface for the show that they have going on, was me. So copyright strike on the channel, one copyright strike on the channel, simply from doing a breakdown analysis of a cell phone footage video of a sparring session between him and Floyd Mayweather. So just if you're wondering, yo, hey, where's episode 47 Boxing Fanatico? It doesn't exist. I didn't even take it down. It was literally terminated off of the channel with a copyright strike. So hopefully the copyright strike gets removed and we can move forward from there. But it is incredibly annoying knowing that so many people have their videos up, literally just playing the sparring session without a word, with over 34,000 views, just playing it, not even saying anything, not even on camera, nothing, literally just the sparring session by itself from its entirety. But for some reason, Blueface's team felt that my video, my live stream, was the only one that was copyright infringing a cell phone recorded video of the sparring session. Let's go ahead and move on. We won't play anything like that here. All right, let's take a look what you guys are saying. Hope you're well, fam. Unfortunately, I don't see Tank fighting anyone else in his next fight because Cruz. But Cruz. I guess it'll be a fun fight while it lasts. Yeah, this is going to be the topic of the day. I want to know from you guys, is this his most financially viable fight? Coming off of the Ryan Garcia, I hope they're not coming off. I hope they're not coming off tone deaf from the Ryan Garcia video, thinking, or not video, but a fight, pay-per-view fight. I hope they're not thinking, oh, he's Spanish, you know, he's African American. We put them together. And they made a lot of money. So therefore, Hispanics versus African Americans, that does a lot of money. That makes that creates, you know, a good revenue. I hope they're not confusing that situation, because I don't know. It's because Ryan Garcia is Ryan Garcia. I truly believe that if Tank was to fight somebody like a Teofimo Lopez, for example, who doesn't have a fight set up, he could fight a Teofimo. Or a Shakur Stevenson, for example, who doesn't have a fight, to my knowledge, set up just yet. He might be doing something on the back end, but nothing has been publicly stated. He looks like he's going to announce a fight soon, in terms of his Twitter, how he set that up. But it doesn't look like he has stated anything. So to me, it looks like Tank had two good options to make sure he still has a good pay-per-view number kind of scenario going on. But he's choosing to rematch Pitbull Cruz instead. And what was used as the kind of, I don't want to say excuse, but as the reasoning was, historically, Hispanic fighters versus African American fighters always does well on pay-per-view. I'm like, yeah, but I think it's not so much about it. It's just because those people happen to be, you know, like popular, right? Oscar De La Hoya was popular when he fought Floyd Mayweather, right? Canelo was popular when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Ryan Garcia was popular when he fought Tank. I do believe that Teofimo and Shakur are more popular than Pitbull Cruz, in my opinion. That's what I believe. But hey, you know, I'm not the guy making these fights, right? Putting these fights together. Robert Helenius returned an adverse analytical finding. Oh yeah, I heard about this. From his VADA drug test the day before losing to Anthony Joshua. I heard about this. The good thing about this is he lost. He lost the fight. So it's neither here nor there in the sense of what's the ramifications moving forward for who's going to fight who in boxing. He lost, right? So at least we got that. Anthony Joshua won, even though he has this adverse analytical finding. However, for the sports integrity, we need to figure out what's going on here, because this, you know, obviously should not be allowed moving forward. We need to understand what happened exactly, because we also can't jump to conclusions. There's B samples, there's A samples, B samples. They got to test a lot of things, because they could come up with a false positive that has happened before. So I wouldn't want to jump to conclusions too much on this. But if this is the case that he was using some sort of performance enhancing drug, hopefully, the good thing is Anthony Joshua still came out with the win. So that's the good thing. So we could continue that thing. Also, I heard that Anthony Joshua was interviewed, and he said that they are still trying to make the December Saudi Arabia mega fight or mega event with Tyson Fury versus Usyk, who will be fighting this Saturday against Daniel Dubois. Tyson Fury versus Usyk as the main event, with the co-main event being Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, with the winners fighting each other. That is still in the pipeline. I thought that was dead since Tyson Fury was fighting Ngannou, but instead looks like it's still there. It's still in the pipeline. They're still trying to put that together. Adrian Domes, what's up, Fanatico? What's going on? ASAP TV, what's going on, brother? I seen 47. That's crazy. I know, man. Why they attacking me, bro? Why they attacking my channel for, man? Blueface tripping. He needs to work on his boxing and leave Fanatico alone. I thought you were pretty nice to him in the breakdown, bro. I said for the level of influencer boxing, do they want me to pretend that he is a professional boxer? He is really good for the level that he's at, where he's at. He's really good for where he's at. And in the space of influencer boxer, I believe he's one of the better fighters. But apparently that's not enough. I have to say that he is the top 5 greatest fighter of all time. If I don't say that, then I guess I'm hating on him. I don't know. I thought I was being very analytical, very fair. And again, there are multiple videos up of him doing from that same camera angle in its entirety without any transformation to the video. But only Boxer Fanatico got the copyright strike. Only me. And it was a copyright strike from the user direct. So it wasn't even just the computer who found it. And it was the computer that found it. And then the user decided to go ahead and do a copyright strike. So what's going on, Anthony Merchant? He mad as Philly shows. Tank needs to fight the top fighters if he wants to be the face of boxing. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Tank is he's possibly the financial face of boxing, but he is definitely not the face of boxing in the sense that he is even fighting for any of the top titles. I saw this meme where this guy was walking in a bubble boy. That's basically Tank. Tank is Bubble Boy because he's walking through 135 inside of a bubble where he's doing a bunch of stuff and people think he's moving the needle, but he's not moving the needle. He's just putting on a bunch of performances. That's all he's doing. If he wants to move the needle, he has to fight the upper echelon type of guys. That's the Lomachenkos, the Shakur Stevensons, the Devin Haney's, the Teofimos. That's who he needs to be fighting. But he's just like straddling this line. And I think that they just want to continuously have him fight Hispanic fighters. I think that that's all they want to do. Him versus Hispanic fighters. Him versus Hispanic fighters. I think a really good fight is Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. And Teofimo is a Hispanic fighter. Why not fight him if you're going to pick Hispanic fighters? And they even said they wanted the Teofimo Lopez fight. What changed? I'll tell you what changed. He beat Josh Taylor. Once he beat Josh Taylor and actually won an official belt, they don't want anything to do with that. They only want to do regular belts and below. Regular belts and below. I'm afraid as long as Tank can make money fighting lesser guys, he will avoid facing the top guys. All right, so here's the thing. This is a pay-per-view that's going to be very telling. He just came out of this is one thing that I'll give credit to Floyd. Well, actually, I'm always giving credit to Floyd because dude was a beast. But here's the thing that Floyd definitely did. Floyd made sure that he chose fighters that kept him making money. Floyd couldn't just fight anybody, and it was proven. Because after Floyd's fight with Oscar De La Hoya, he didn't do anything under $1 million until he fought his last fight before he went on his 2-year hiatus before he fought Conor McGregor. When he fought Andre Berto, he did 500 and something thousand pay-per-views because that was just, to a lot of people, that was like a no-name type of fighter. But other than Andre Berto, he was making a lot of money. And it wasn't just because he was fighting Hispanic fighters. Yes, Hispanic fighters was a thing, but it wasn't just that. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao was one of the fighters. He also fought Sugar Shane Mosley. All of those did good numbers. As long as the person is viable, is popular enough, he was able to pull a good pay-per-view number. Once he went to a person that was not that big of a deal in terms of the casual market, didn't even know him at all, which was Andre Berto, unfortunately. No shade to him. He was a really good boxer during his time. But it didn't do that much money. It's risky once you crack 1 million to go below 1 million. You want to keep the flow going. How do you keep the flow going? You fight people that can get you to that 1 million. We know you're a superstar, Tank. That's the only way you could do 1 million pay-per-view buys is if both of you guys were superstars. We know you're a superstar. If you want to keep that 1 million kind of flow going, I would highly suggest fighting somebody else. However, we're going to know if I'm 100% wrong in this. Because if he goes ahead and fights Pitbull Cruz, which is, by the way, it's not even guaranteed that he's going to fight Pitbull Cruz, but just to let you guys know, nothing has been signed, sealed, and delivered. I think Calvin Ford was interviewed, and in the interview, that was his response. He said, this is the fight that we're looking for next, the rematch with Pitbull Cruz. At least this fight cleans up that his injury excuse, right? Oh, he had the injury, that's why he couldn't knock out Pitbull Cruz. He's the only person he ain't knock out. So at least this cleans up the Pitbull Cruz injury situation where he said he hurt his hand. So let's see. If you hurt your hand again, then like, I don't know, man. You're really asking for us to believe in these crazy coincidences. So let's see what happens in that situation. That's fine. But is he going to make the most money off of fighting Cruz? I don't know. And is it going to be a big step back? Like, are we going to see 1.2 million and then we're going to see something like 400,000 pay-per-views, right? Because that's not good. Floyd Mayweather, obviously, he went back too, right? He did 2 point something million with Oscar. Then he went down to 1 million, 1.2 million, 1 million on the dot, like when he fought Marquez. So he was, he wasn't all the way at 2 point something. He climbed back up to do 2 point with Canelo and then 4 point something with Manny and 4 point something with Conor McGregor. But he didn't go off of the million is the minty fresh number that you want. Anything above $1 million just looks clean. You look like a mega superstar celebrity above $1 million. So if they want to keep that going, I definitely would recommend that they fight somebody of the caliber of a Teofimo Lopez. He's Hispanic. He'll fall into the whole fighting a Hispanic fighter. He's Hispanic. You could fight him, and it to me would be a much bigger deal than fighting Pitbull Cruz because we've already seen it before, and he didn't get the knockout last time, so that makes it even less interesting. But hopefully this time he does get the knockout and cleans it up and all that stuff, and we'll see what happens. Tank has fought like 7 Mexicans in a row. I think Hector Garcia was Dominican. He fought Hector Garcia. In January, I think he was Dominican. But they all Hispanics. They've been Hispanic. It's like Floyd, right? Floyd fought Maidana. Maidana was Hispanic, but he wasn't necessarily Mexican. He was Argentinian. They definitely cater into the black versus Mexican rivalry. No, I completely understand that. It works when it works, right? De La Hoya, Mayweather, it works when it works. What I'm saying is it works when it works. That's literally what I'm saying. If there's a better option, even if they're not Hispanic, just like for Floyd, the better option was Shane Mosley at the time. He wasn't Hispanic, but it was the better option. Floyd also fought Ricky Hatton. He wasn't Hispanic. He was British. And he still made $1 million. It's just who's more popular. It's not like if they're trying to create this common thread, oh, it's because he fought, these Hispanic fighters. That's the reason why we're getting these numbers. No, it's because you fought Ryan Garcia, who's a social media star, right? And Tank is also a social media star. So that's the reason why that did good. It didn't do good because there's this arbitrary thing where people are just like, African-American fighter, black fighter versus Mexican fighter. This is, I will pay for this. Bye. That's not how it's working. It's just like, oh, that's Ryan and Tank. Oh, this is crazy. I know both of them. I'm going to watch this. That's how that worked. There was a little controversy with the first fight. Tank might be going in there to smoke Cruz to make it clear who's better. I get that. I get that, but the excuse that was being used or the reasoning that was being used by Calvin Ford was not that, right? Was not that he was trying to clean it up. It was that financially this makes the most sense for Tank's next move. And I don't think that I agree with that, but they could prove me wrong. If Tank goes in there against Pitbull Cruz, against Isaac Cruz, and beats him or fights him and beats him in spectacular fashion and does all that, he cleans that up, but also crosses a 1 million pay-per-view buy number or gets close, like 800 something thousand, then Tank is a bona fide superstar. He has completely crossed over to the casual market. If this is the case, this could be a test to see how much pull he actually has on his own, because he will not be having a dance partner in this fight. Yeah, they're going to sell it as this was his tough fight. This was the guy he couldn't knock out. They're going to sell it as that. But are people going to buy it? And by people, I mean the casual market, because they are the only ones that matter when it comes to pay-per-views. I'm sorry. I love boxing. You guys love boxing. We love boxing. We don't matter when it comes to pay-per-views because we are the automatic viewers. I'm going to buy Tank versus Pitbull Cruz if it happens. I'm going to buy it. Is the casual market going to buy it? That's what I'm concerned about, because I want Tank to stay a superstar. That's good for boxing. The more superstars you have, the better it is for the sport. When Floyd was in boxing and Manny was in boxing, the sport was flourishing because we had superstars. The NBA is only fun for people because there's superstars. There's LeBron, there's Stephen Curry. That's what makes it fun. If it was a bunch of no-names, people wouldn't care that much. So superstars in a sport is really, really important. Boxing's always been really difficult to have superstars. So to have somebody be a superstar like a Tank, that's awesome. I want him to stay a superstar. I want him to be able to keep saying, hey, look at my numbers, look at my numbers, look at my numbers. I am worried that this fight will not do that for him. Also, on the other side of that coin, he's not fighting the top tier fighters. So it's also making it seem very commercial, very like it doesn't move the needle, it doesn't do any of that stuff. You don't get any progression from him. He feels it makes him feel stagnant, right? With Shakur, I'm always feeling like he's progressing. I'm always feeling like he's moving forward in his journey. Because if he's in a division, he's trying to get the world title. If he gets the world title, or he's growing out of the division weight-wise, I see he moves up. It's just constant progression. With Tank might fight at 140, but he'll come back to 135. Like all that stuff that he's doing, it doesn't feel like progression. It just feels like it's just the Tank show, and he's just doing a commercial fight. Yes, he's fighting professional fighters, but it's all about, can he get another knockout? Can he get another knockout? And, that's it. That's all it is. ASAP TV, Lopez versus Taylor was probably the best fight so far this year. Nah, you wildin'. The best fight this year to me so far was Crawford versus Errol Spence. That fight was crazy. That was the best. Now, was the most surprising? Yeah, I think Lopez versus Taylor, in terms of the highest level, it was the most surprising. But I think Crawford versus Spence was way more entertaining. I mean, Crawford had knockdowns. Like Lopez versus Taylor was a one-sided affair with Lopez dominating Taylor, but Lopez, he wasn't knocking him down, right? He wasn't beating him to like a bloody pope, right? The way Crawford was with Errol Spence. So I think Crawford versus Errol Spence, I would disagree with you there. I think Crawford versus Errol Spence was much better fight. For me, it was a much better fight. What's going on, Prince? What's up? Hatton, Mosley, and McGregor all aren't Hispanic. You're right. Exactly. They're trying to say, did he fight Hispanic fighters? Yes, he did. A lot of his fighters were Hispanic. But that's not because, he also fought Chop Corley, right? He also fought Arturo Gatti. Like, it's not necessarily that it's because they're Hispanic. They just happen to be the popular person. You're going to tell me Miguel Cotto wasn't popular when he fought him? You're going to tell me Maidana wasn't popular? Oscar De La Hoya wasn't popular when he fought him? Canelo wasn't popular when he fought him? It's just that they were popular. That's all that was the connecting dot. The same way you fought Shane Mosley and he wasn't Hispanic because he was popular. Popular is the only thing that matters. It's not a black fighter versus a Hispanic fighter. That's not what matters. Like, they're trying to trick the public to believe that that's a legitimate thing. Like, the only reason Ryan and Tank made money is because Ryan is a Hispanic fighter. That's not the case. Loma versus Devin was up there too. ASAP TV. Yeah, Loma versus Devin. That was actually, and I see you saying here that Lopez was a lot more competitive though. That's why I said that. I see what you're saying there, but even that one was more competitive, and I think that one was definitely more competitive because the Teo versus Lopez, the Teo versus Taylor fight, the Lopez versus Taylor fight was only competitive for 2 rounds, and then Lopez took over in style. The Devin Haney versus Lomachenko was like super close the entire time. Now, I thought when you said Lopez Taylor, you're talking about someone outboxing somebody, like the best, a fight that you've seen where someone was dominating the other person, because that's really what the fight was. It was only 2 rounds of Taylor doing something, and then after that it was just all Teofimo Lopez. So in terms of somebody dominating another, in my opinion, I think that Crawford dominating Errol Spence was a much better fight, a much better domination fight. And then even the second one, I think, is Inoue versus Fulton. And then maybe Taylor versus Lopez versus Taylor. But even if you want to look at close fights, I think Lomachenko versus Devin Haney was a really good close fight. Another thing that has gone down, reportedly, we don't know for sure. A lot of people are saying that this is guaranteed, this has happened. But we actually don't know for sure. And he has until the 29th to finalize this. That is that Errol Spence has indeed activated the rematch clause. Now, it's a little bit dangerous for him to do this, and I'll tell you why. Not because he doesn't deserve a rematch, not because we know what's probably going to happen if he fights Crawford again. It's that Crawford is going to be able to pick what weight class they fight in. If Crawford doesn't want to do it at 54 and wants to do it at 47, because Crawford's little for 47 anyways, he might do it at 47. There's nothing really stopping him from doing that. And he could justify it as saying, hey, look, I want to do it at 47 so you could try to win to be undisputed. This is your second chance at undisputed. Let's give you a chance to make undisputed. He could say that if he wants a physical advantage over Errol Spence. Now, if they want a marketing advantage, the best thing to do is to move up to 154 and sell us on the whole Errol Spence was too little at 147, or he was too weight drained at 147, even though he's fought his entire career at 147, and he a grown man. So if you fought your entire, it's easier to say that when you're 21, 19, and you've been at the weight for a little bit, and then you're like 23, 24, and now you're outgrowing the weight. It makes a little bit more sense in that way, but when you are in your 30s, you're pretty much who you are already. You're not growing much. And for him to have always been at 147 his entire career, to look as spectacular as he did against Ugas, to all of a sudden be weight drained, completely weight drained for against Crawford, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Now, I get it. There's people out there that's how they feel, right? And it could sell the fight. Kudos, sell the fight. Go ahead. That's a sell, right? But really what's going to happen is the same exact thing that happened at 147. The same exact thing that happened at 147. Less than 10 more pounds is not going to dramatically change what happened this past July. It's just not. It's just not. And I'm not even saying that to belittle Spence or degrade Spence or anything like that. I'm not. He's an amazing fighter, but he's not an all-time great fighter. Crawford is. We are having talks now like, where is he in the top greatest fighters of all time? If he fights Canelo, we are having possible GOAT talks, possible greatest of all time talks, if he beats Canelo, right? Because I'm predicting that Canelo's going to beat Jermell, and then he's going to fight Canelo after Errol Spence. So if he fights Canelo and beats Canelo and becomes a 3-division undisputed, then we're having GOAT talk. That means that this man is maybe a fight or two away from proving that he is possibly one of, if not the greatest boxer of all time. That's the problem. That's the issue. The issue is not the car accident, because we saw that after Danny Garcia. The issue is not the retina, because we saw that after he fought Ugas. We saw it. This is Ugas who beat Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao who beat Keith Thurman. This is the Ugas, the underdog, that beat Manny Pacquiao. with very little notice. He didn't have the long notice. He replaced Errol Spence and beat Manny Pacquiao. And he beat him soundly. He outboxed Manny Pacquiao and then gets obliterated. One of Errol Spence's best performances was against Ugas. You guys know that, right? The fight right before Crawford. And get this. The only time he actually had a nutritionist actually creating the best foods for his energy and for his macronutrients and his micronutrients was the Crawford fight. Every other fight, he just starved himself and performed that good. This fight, he actually had a nutritionist. We saw it on All Access. And he said it himself on All Access. He said, this is the first time. Every other time I would just barely eat. This is the first time I had a nutritionist. Now the food tastes good. I feel full. I feel all this stuff. And the nutritionist is he has a personal chef making his food that got him like science right on the 147 mark. It was right on the 147 mark. He wasn't under by a little bit. It was right on the mark. So you're going to tell me that this man who destroyed Ugas, who just beat Manny Pacquiao, who gave even Shawn Porter, Ugas, don't forget guys, Ugas gave Shawn Porter problems. So it wasn't a fluke. Beating Manny wasn't a fluke. He gave Shawn Porter problems. The same Shawn Porter that gave Terrence Crawford problems. You mean to tell me that he gonna destroy that man one fight before he just can't make the weight no more, and that's why he's so trash? At 147, but you move it to 154 and he's a brand new person, even though he's only fought at 147 his whole career? Just got to make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, can you sell this to the casual market? Sure. Yeah, he was weight drained. They're not going to know any better. Like, when Crawford was talking to Jamel, the dude, what's his name? The dude that used to play for the Houston Rockets, I forgot his name. The dude with the beard. He didn't know who Jamel was, and he was asking him, "Oh, you gonna fight him next? Y'all in the same weight class? The same weight class? You guys, you two, so y'all can fight?" Nobody knows. So all you got to do is say James Harden. There you go. So all you got to do is say, "Yo." He was weight drained. What that mean? That he couldn't make 147, so he was so tired. Oh, so what that mean? So he's gonna move up to 154. Okay, so that's the next division, right? Yeah, he's gonna move up. So when he moves up, he won't be weight drained. So he'll be better. He'll have energy at 154. So the energy is gonna let him fight better and make better decisions because he's gonna have more energy up there. And then the casual goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know what? Let's see it again. Now I want to see it again. I thought he just wasn't good enough. But now I feel like that's how that's gonna work. And it'll sell. It'll probably sell. And that's fine. I'll watch it again. He has all rights to fight him again. Do I think he's gonna win? No. Do I think the same is gonna happen? Yes. And Crawford is so competitive, petty. He's probably going to fight him at 154. And he's probably going to do worse so that he could be like, "Oh, you see, I was talking about this 154 stuff. Look, that's Crawford's mentality." And if he does that, then what's going to happen? If he knocks him out in the first round, because he has so much confidence, you have to understand, Errol Spence does not have a tool set. So basically, it's going to be round 10. Right? It's going to be round 1 in Crawford's mind after feeling Spence's power, Spence's what Spence's tendencies are like, how he reacts to Crawford. To Crawford, that's going to be round 10. The next round 1 is round 10. So there's nothing else that Errol Spence is going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets him out of there within 5 rounds at 154. Just to say, "Oh, look, you thought he could beat me at 154? Look what I did to him at 154. And then what's going to be the excuse? "Oh, he just wasn't ready for 154. I'm telling you, get ready for this. Get ready for this. When when he's when he loses to Crawford for the first day and a half, you're gonna have everyone say, "Oh, Crawford is just better. He's just better. He won. That's it. He's a better fighter." For the first day and a half, I promise you, for the first day and a half. Then just one person, one tastemaker. That's what we call in the industry, a person who has enough influence to influence a lot of people. A tastemaker, maybe somebody who's very popular or maybe a celebrity, is going to be like, man, I don't know. I think Errol Spence wasn't really ready yet for 154. He needed a tune-up fight to kind of understand, how 154 works. And then everybody who was like, Crawford won the fight, it's all good. They're going to come back and be like, yo, I'm not saying I already gave him his props. I said he won the fight. But look at this and look at that. And look at this other thing over here. And look at this fourth thing down there. And look at this fifth thing. And then it's just going to be excuse city, because that's exactly what happened when Crawford won. When Crawford won, nobody knew what was the excuse to say to not look funny. They needed the social proof. They needed the group thing to start up. And then once the group thing started up, they jumped in there. Oh, yeah, you know what? He need to be at 154. He didn't look how he looked before. He didn't look the same. He didn't look this. He didn't look that. That's how it is. That's how it is. When you actually real, you just accept the loss. When Devin Haney, no, not even Devin Haney, because that was a close fight. I wouldn't even use that. When Ryan Garcia lost to Tank, you ain't hear nothing coming out of this channel talking about, but maybe the way Ryan, the way he fought with this guy, and he kind of looked tired. The rehydration clause, that's what it was. The rehydration clause. You didn't hear none of that from me, and I predicted that Ryan would win. I never thought Ryan was better. I've always said that I didn't think Ryan's better than Tank. I think Tank is better, but Tank gets hit a lot, and Ryan throws a lot of fast punches, and Ryan is tall and fights tall. So I thought that was going to be enough to beat Tank, but it wasn't. And that's all it was. It was not enough. He was not better. He was not better. Period. There is no excuses. But with Crawford versus Spence, they say, oh, I gave him his props, so now I can say all these excuses. That's not how it works. You can't do that. That's like punching somebody in the face and saying, yo, I'm sorry for punching you in the face, and then you just punch him in the face. It's like you can't say you're sorry for punching him in the face before you punch him in the face and then punch him in the face and then be like, oh, but I said I'm sorry. Yeah, I punched him, but I said I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't work like that, bro. You're trying to get the best of both worlds. Maybe you're just trying to appease your audience or whatever, but you're trying to get the best of both worlds when you do that. You're sneakily trying to pretend like, oh, I'm giving him his props. I'm doing I'm being cordial. I said that whoever wins this fight, that's it. They're the best or whatever. But you're really just saying that with your rhetoric, and then you're doing other things with the way you're presenting your content after the fact. All right, hold on. I'm a Spence fan, but I can't see Spence winning at all. Maybe he can make a competitive fight, but Bud was too dominant. But okay. Have you seen Spence fight as good as he fought Ugas in a long time against anybody? His performance against Ugas was one of his best performances. One of his best performances, period. So you mean to tell me that because against Crawford, it was before, against Porter, it was before the car accident. It was before the car accident. So do y'all really think, right? Let's just do this logically. Do y'all really think that the guy who fought Porter was a better guy than the guy who fought Ugas? And do you think that the guy who fought Porter would have beaten the Crawford? Or do you think that the guy who fought Ugas had a better chance of beating Crawford? And then you layer on top of the fact that he actually had a paid nutritionist. So that means that when he fought Porter, he was just starving himself. When he fought Ugas, he was just starving himself. It just doesn't make sense. I don't see him having a better performance. It's going to be a worse performance. And I'm saying it right now. It's going to be a worse performance at 154. You heard it here on episode 48, Boxing Fanatico Live. It's a worse performance at 154. You want to know why it's going to be a worse performance? Because Crawford already figured him out at 147. People give too much power to weight. People give too much power to weight. Weight, especially just one little division, especially if you were at 147 and Crawford's at 147 and y'all both moving up at the same time, you think that that's going to make a dent in the performance of Crawford? No, what's going to happen is actually going to go against the grain even more, and he's going to have a better performance. This is Crawford that we're talking about, the guy who wants to go up to 168 to fight Canelo. Because skills is everything. Weight matters only if the weight is a dramatic difference. Crawford already knows how to fight him, and he's going to beat him in the way that he knows how he fought him. And it's going to probably be faster. I guarantee you, under 5 rounds is going to be a wrap. Under 5 rounds is going to be a wrap. At 154. It will be less competitive at 154. I'm saying it right now. Less competitive. Less competitive. Hi, Fanatical. Hi, everyone. El Hulo production. What's going on, brother? I think Teo versus Bud is more realistic. Teo versus Bud is more realistic than Canelo versus Bud. Teo versus Bud. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, not really, because Teo would have to move up to 147. I don't think Bud cares to do that. I think Bud just wants the big money fights. And I think the next big money fight for him is Canelo. When he fights Errol, he's just, completing his contract. The same way Devin Haney, I'm sure Devin Haney didn't want to fight Kambosos again. And what happened when Devin Haney fought Kambosos again? He beat him worse. What happened when Floyd Mayweather fought when Floyd Mayweather fought Jose Luis Castillo again? He beat him worse. What happened when Floyd Mayweather fought Maidana again? He beat him worse. All that rematches do is just continue. It continues what's already happening, believe it or not. That's why close fights make sense to have a rematch, because you're continuing a close fight. Nobody figured nobody out. Non-close fights, the only reason that they require a rematch is if it was put in the clause and the person activated the rematch clause. It's just Devin Haney versus Kambosos. He lit him up in the second one because he already knew his tendencies. He already knew there's that feel out portion of the fight where you're trying to feel out the power. You're trying to feel out all these different things. There's that element that's gone. It's gone. You're also trying to feel out, what does he like to do when I do this? What does he like to do when I do this? What does he like to do when I do this or step in? What does he like to do? What's his twitches? That's done. That's done. This is just continuing. This is round 10. This is the next round. In Crawford's mind, this is the next round. And in Errol Spence's mind, this is the next round. Because I promise you that Errol Spence is not going to bring anything new to the table. Errol Spence was never a deep tool set person. He was never a deep tool set person. He was a high activity fighter. He was a high activity fighter. They tricked you to believe that Errol Spence was this super crazy tactician. He's not. He's fundamentally sound. That's fine. But being fundamentally sound does not mean that you have this high level skill. It just means that you keep your hands up. When you throw punches, you're always throwing these punches in correctly. You're always technically sound. The fundamentals are on point. That's all that means. That don't mean that you could adjust, that you could figure things out, that you could pull out different moves and different things to take away different things from your opponent so they can't do it. Oh, that's his favorite thing. I got this and this and this to take that away. You don't have that. You don't have that. All you have, all Errol Spence has is a never-ending engine. And if you can circumvent the never-ending engine, it's a wrap. He's done. And Crawford basically neutralized that whole concept of his never-ending engine. He gonna do the same thing at 154. But worse. It's gonna be worse. It's not gonna be the same performance. It's gonna be a worse performance. Seeing people say Bud was on PDs not talking about Alicia really irks me. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the double standard, bro. ASAP TV is the double standard. I like this fighter, therefore. I hate this fighter, therefore. It's the double standard. There's very little, bro. Very little non-biased boxing channels. There's very, very little. I think there's maybe, I could count them on my hands, maybe. There's probably less than, and it's probably just barely anything, because it's all about echo chambers, right? Because that's how you grow. If I focused on an echo chamber, I'll probably grow my channel 5 times faster. But I've never been that way. I just prefer the integrity of the sport itself and keeping the integrity of the sport connected to this channel. I just like it that way. Because to me, it just feels, I feel like I'm true to myself, right? I'm sure that there's a lot of times where, channels that are just biased for one promotional company or whatever, that there's times where they probably think to themselves that they're wrong. Because you have to feel that way. If you're constantly just saying what the echo chamber wants you to say, you gotta be wrong. You gotta be wrong sometimes. Inside, and you know that you're wrong. But you still pretend that you're right. What are you gonna do? You built your entire channel on an echo chamber. So what are you going to do? It's easier for growth, that's smart. Because what you do is you create a common thought process amongst a group of people. But to have the integrity where you could talk about anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what race they come from, it doesn't matter what brand they come from, and be unbiased so that somebody could lose to that person and you predicted that person to win, and now you're not attached. Your whole person, who you are, is not attached to that person losing. So you could just normally, naturally be like, oh, they lost. I was wrong. This is crazy. He's the best. That's it. You can't do that because it'll drive you crazy because you built an entire audience that's attacking you. That's attacking you if you know what I'm saying, if you didn't go that route. So, like I said, if I wanted to grow this channel way faster, I could just echo chamber the channel. But I'm not going to do that because that's just not, I would look at my channel and cringe every time. I would look at my videos and cringe every time if I knew I'm saying something that I don't actually feel. Maybe he need to fire the nutritionist. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, at work, still tuned in. AP, whatever, what's going on? Yeah, James Harder, we got that here. What is Fanatico? What is it, Fanatico? You don't see Crawford versus Canelo being similar to Tank calling out Crawford? What is it, Fanatico? No, it is similar. It is similar. Tank could call out Crawford. I never said Tank calling out Crawford was a stupid idea. Tank could call out Crawford. Do I think Tank would beat Crawford? No. The difference with Tank and Crawford is that Crawford is fighting at the upper echelon of elite because he's fighting for the world titles. He's undisputed, which is all the belts at 147. No other person at 147 has a world title. Only him. He has all 4 belts. And he's going up to fight another person who's fighting at the upper echelon of elite, which is Canelo, who has all the belts. Then you have Tank, who's smaller than Crawford. At least with Crawford beating the upper echelon elite fighters, the only thing we have to worry about with Crawford is his weight. With Tank, not only do we have to worry about weight, we have to worry about, is he even capable of fighting somebody of this at this level? Because he's not done it. So there's more that's suppressing that idea than there is that's suppressing the Crawford versus Canelo idea. But Tank has all the right to want to be great to the point where he goes up and fights Crawford. He has all the rights to do that. If Crawford does it, sure. Crawford could fight him. That's fine. He has the right to do that. All I'm saying is that I see the Crawford versus Canelo as a more viable thing that makes a little bit more sense based off of who they fight and what they're doing, their accomplishments, versus a Tank. Tank versus Crawford to me is just a money fight. Because Tank hasn't really done much in terms of accomplishments at 135 to warrant a 147 jump to beating the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I heard Carmel Martin going to be on the undercard of Charlo Canelo or the prelims. That's fire. That would be fire. I've been following that kid for a while. I did see him lose at a world tournament. So I'm because he lost, I've been following, or I've been trying to keep up with the other guy that beat him. But him going pro, I've been waiting for him to go pro. I've been waiting for Carmel Martin to go pro. He's the next, Floyd Mayweather protege with skills. It's gonna be a very interesting career to keep your eye on. I always want these guys to go to the Olympics first because I think that's very telling. You go to the Olympics and you go far in the Olympics, like Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson. But we'll have to wait and see what he does. But he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing, and he's under the tutelage of Floyd Mayweather, so that's really important. And since he was a kid, he's been under the tutelage of Floyd Mayweather, so that's a big deal. And I'm talking about since he was a little kid. Might be wrong, but that'd be cool to see. All right, we'll see. I don't know. I got to double check that, but we'll see. There's a little truth to him being drained, but it had nothing to do with the ass whooping. The truth is still, though, Arrow at 147 was like the date on a milk carton. Expired. But here's the thing. It's still excuses at the end of the day. He's not gonna, trust me. At 154 is gonna be worse because that weight jump is not anything. They're both moving up to 154. So he's not even situated at 154. It's a nothing burger. I'm telling you, it's a nut. Watch the fight. It's gonna happen. I'm still gonna pay for it. I'm still gonna watch it, and I still would love for you guys because that's still a super fight in its own right. But it's gonna be easier than the last one. It's gonna be easier. Respect. Thanks for all the video game updates, bro. Of course. Oh, by the way, UFC 5. They put out a teaser trailer at Gamescom. They put out a teaser trailer. And it looks like this is exclusive to next gen. I'm very curious to see what it's going to look like when they're not held down by last generation. Because all of their games were last generation games. But this one is a next gen game from scratch. They made this next gen from scratch. So I'm wondering how good is this game going to be? In terms of the visuals, in terms of how the gameplay feels. There's also a closed beta that they mentioned that they launched. So if you guys could, I don't have the link or anything like that, but you could go online, go Google the closed beta, and see to click and put your email or whatever, your gamer, or connect to your PlayStation or your Xbox so that you could play the closed beta. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Just keep in mind, it looks like it's super closed beta, so you can't actually put videos up. So just keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to try to have a channel and get copyright stricken, whatever that is. It don't feel good. It don't feel good to get hit with that. So I don't want you guys to get hit with that. Yeah, make sure you're not posting the videos when you're playing it. But I signed up for the closed beta, so hopefully I get to play it. I get to feel it out, and we'll see what happens with that. Skills pays the bills. That's right. Getting's Gaming Corner. Oh, what's going on, Getting Gaming? What's up, bro? You right, Buzz. Smoking Spence at any weight. I'm telling you, it's not just smoking. It's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. I'm telling you, watch. Canelo too scared to fight Bud. He thinks every is bigger than him. Canelo too scared to fight. He thinks every. Well, Canelo said he's okay with fighting at 168. He said, hey, if he going to fight, come up. He did mention, I'm not going to get credit for it. But he also said, if he wants to fight me, come up to 160. I'll fight him at 168. I can't make that other weight, those other weights. Come up to 168. So, hey, listen, if Crawford goes all the way up to 168, I don't see why Canelo wouldn't do it. Sure, you wouldn't get credit for it, Canelo, but that's a big payday because people don't understand that stuff. They just know you're a superstar and he's a superstar. We're talking about the casual market here. They don't get it. They just know Crawford just did some amazing stuff and he gonna fight you. And you amazing already. That's all they know. So to the casual market, that's free. This is free money. Fighting him is free money. And I mean, you could still say, hey, look, I beat an undefeated, undisputed, 2-division undisputed. Sure, I was bigger than him, but and you don't look that much bigger than, you look smaller than me than Jermell. So you're probably gonna look very close in size to Terrence Crawford. It's not even going to look jarring when people see it. Canelo would take the Bud fight. I think so. I got Canelo beating Terrence. I got Terrence Crawford beating Canelo, though, on that one. To be honest, I got Terrence Crawford. Respect, yeah, about bias, but come on, you love Shakur, as do I. I've already said that I have a bias in terms of the fighter. I have a favorite fighter because it'll be foolish to pretend that you don't have a favorite basketball team or a favorite, basketball player or whatever. But you can have a favorite basketball team and be real about your team, right? You could be like, oh, they're not good this year. They're not going to make it. Like, I'm a Knicks fan, right? But I know that they're not going to make it. Oh, they're not going to make it this year, and they're not playing good. And I could be honest about it, even though I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan, and I'm honest about Shakur Stevenson. I also leave my bias at the door when I'm talking about something unbiasedly. Right, so I'm not going to pretend that I don't have a favorite fighter because I do. But everything I've said about Shakur was all true and proven to be true. Because I was talking up Shakur before he even fought Jamel Herring. And people were like, oh, he ain't going to beat Jamel Herring. I was like, yo, he's going to put on a show against Jamel Herring. He did. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I have a bias, but I don't let the bias run my channel. The bias does not run my channel, and I'm able to put my biases aside to give an analysis as well. If Shakur is ever to be in a situation where I think he would lose, I would say, hey, look, he's about to lose this fight. But Shakur is just too many levels above everybody that's out there. He's just too many levels above everybody that's out there, so I don't see him losing. And it's not because of my bias. It's literally just because it's the same thing like Terrence Crawford's not my favorite fighter. He's not my favorite fighter, but I like Terrence Crawford a lot. But Shakur is my favorite fighter. But the same thing, I'm saying Terrence can't lose has nothing to do with bias. When I said Terrence was going to knock out Errol Spence, and people were like, oh, are you crazy? He never even Errol Spence has never even been knocked down. It wasn't because of a bias. When I predicted the exact round that Crawford was going to knock Errol Spence out, it wasn't because of a bias. It was because I know Terrence Crawford and how good he is, and I know Errol Spence and the limitations that he has. So it's not really a bias, bro. It's just, sure, yes, I have a favorite fighter, but that does not control my channel in any way, shape, or form. Get his Gaming Corner, everybody is bigger than Canelo. LOL. Everybody he fought is usually bigger than him. He's rarely the bigger guy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jermell looks bigger to me than Canelo Alvarez. And they're about to fight. Facts. I think you said fact. You were saying facts on what I was saying about Tank, if I could recall. Everybody dunking Shakur. I can't be convinced otherwise. Of course, they don't want that. They don't want the Shakur smoke. The same way people didn't want the Floyd Mayweather smoke. The only time Floyd was like anybody could get it, or people were finally lining up to fight him, was when he was high risk, high reward. But for a long time, he was high risk, low reward. De La Hoya gave him that opportunity. And that's when he finally broke into the casual market. Hopefully Frank signs for that fight. Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't think Frank is ready for it in terms of he's gonna lose, but we'll see. Yes, bro. Carmel Melton, the Tank Davis duplicate, he fired, bro. Want to see him debut. I don't know if he's too much a Tank Davis duplicate. I think he's more a Floyd Mayweather duplicate than he is a Tank Davis duplicate, in my opinion. I think Tank Davis reminds me more of Mike Tyson. He reminds me more of a Mike Tyson kind of a fighter. Although he fights with a different style, that's the kind of the explosiveness and the talent that he has. It reminds me of Mike Tyson. Carmel Moulton reminds me more of Floyd Mayweather than Tank reminds me of Floyd. And Carmel Moulton, remember, Tank came in with Floyd and he put him under his wing. But Carmel Moulton has been there since he was a little child, like a little kid. So he's literally grown up with Floyd from the jump. So we'll see what happens there. I think Floyd wants him to fight immediately, like top-level competition, like as his first fight, which is crazy. I wonder if they will be allowed to continue using 8-ounce gloves at 154 because 154 is the first weight to require 10-ounce. Floyd was able to allow 10-ounce for some 147 fights, though, like versus Hatton. It all depends because when you're an A-side and, you could put anything you want in the contract and put a whole, fight together. So it all depends on what they do, what they decide in the contract when they fight. Man, what if Errol pulls it off and we have a trilogy fight? I think that would be amazing. I would love that outcome. Well, here's the thing: if Errol does beat Spence, that's crazy. If Errol does beat Crawford, we do have a trilogy fight possible because there is the possibility to activate the rematch clause on Crawford's end. So Crawford could activate the rematch clause even if he loses in the rematch, which is crazy. That's why they said that this is a potential trilogy setup because of that. But the beatdown was so bad that I just don't see a trilogy happening. I really don't. I want that no cap. I want Errol to pull it off in a great fashion at 154 to open up a new conversation about a third fight. That'd be crazy. A crazy outcome that not a lot of people would expect. Yeah, that would be a plot twist. That would definitely be 100% a plot twist. Shakur over everyone. Shakur over everyone. He should take in the 25%. No one gonna fight him with a belt. He's gonna end up fighting Frank Martin, which is somewhat risky fight with not much rewards. It's not that risky. Trust me, bro. Gennins is not that risky. He's gonna fight Frank to get a fight in at 135. You got to get a fight in at 135 anyways. For him to fight Frank as his first fight, I think that's pretty good. And yeah, it's not gonna be crazy. Watch, and he'll end up getting the belt because people are going to start. The belts are going to start to disperse if Devin Haney doesn't come back down. If Devin Haney does come back down, Devin Haney has to fight Shakur Stevenson. There's no other person he could fight. If not, he won't be undisputed. So, we're gonna wait and see. I just mean he looks like Tank so much. Oh, okay. They look like fraternal twins. Gotcha. All right. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here. It's 3 minutes over. It went 3 minutes over. We're going to end the stream here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Of course, as always, we will be back on Monday, every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, barring any kind of crazy situation where I just can't go live. But I always let you guys know on Twitter if I'm not going to go live. But for the most part, we are always live Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like on your way out, guys, and also hit that notification bell when you hit that subscribe button. And hit all notifications so you know exactly when we go live. So you can get in here as early as possible so you can be part of the conversation as early as possible. All right. Until the next one, guys. Peace out. Thank you so much. and I'll see you on Monday.